Hey all. I'm shattered. Right, to this hospital again. I've just had, look at this lot. 2 months supply of cancer drugs. Just had to wait 2 bloody hours for them from chemist in hospital. Atrocious, terrible. Anyway, been to see an oncologist 2.5 weeks after chemo 6. Last one. And basically he showed me the scans from the PSMA. Most interesting, I've seen all my tumours. I didn't realise I'd got 2 of my lymph nodes in my pelvis. Anyway, that's more. So basically see me in 2 months' time. He's organising a bone scan for me, which I expected. Just done blood, so next week I'll find out my latest PSA. What he did say was that normally, and I think I've said this before, within 3 years it'll probably return as what they call a castration-resistant cancer. In other words, the testosterone treatment doesn't work anymore. And he says, at which point we'll have you in and we'll decide where to go from there. So I've got a bit of hair stuck up. Yeah, so, he says, could be longer. I'm hoping longer. Fingers crossed. Yeah, right. Something I learnt last week. I watched this guy, this oncologist consultant, American. In America, they only do standard PSA tests. The tests that I'm having here, what are called high accuracy. So that's why they go down to 0.001. The oncologist today said, and it was the boss man, he said, I'm 0.037 last time. He says, so there's a good chance you'll drop off the end. In other words, in permanent, or not permanent, but in remission. He said, but it will return. There was no doubt in his voice about that. It will come back. And he says, at which point we'll decide, depending on what the tumour is, where it is. He says, and I said, will that involve radiotherapy, radiation? Might do, he says, just have to wait and see. But there's all sorts of other treatments. Anyway, what I was saying about this American guy, and it was most interesting, he said that statistics are only as good as the period of time. So if you look at 5 years, you can only do the statistics for the last 5 years. So if you're trying to assess 20 years, or 15 or 10, it says they can only be based on treatment that started 20, 15 or 10 years ago. It says, so as a consequence, the treatment then was a lot different to what it is now. So as a consequence, the numbers now are far better than what they were. Now, what he was talking about was that in America, it's called the American Cancer Society, is the body that does all the statistical work for, cancer cure rates and things. And they've just released that if you've got, and sun's coming out, and I don't know whether it's dazzling me, it's dazzling me a bit. Basically, they're saying that if you've got basic cancer, or if you've got the next stage of cancer, which is the mutation, which produces its own testosterone, you've got a 98% survival rate within the first 5 years. That's what the society's saying. And if you look at my situation where, it's spread out of the prostate and it's gone into my bones, they say that I've only got a 34% survival rate over 5 years. Now, if you remember, what I looked at previously was that the old figures said 25%. And so they've just released these figures that say 34%, which is better. Now, what this guy was saying, he said, well, you can only assess it based on the previous 5 years. This is so people now are on much better quality drugs and things. So the survival rate over the coming 5 years will be higher. He says, so that 34 isn't accurate. He says, in actual fact, this is in America, he says, in my practice, he says, I would say that if you've got, he says, the people that don't survive, the 2%, are the men that turn into the surgery and they've basically got 80 tumours all over the body, and the PSA numbers are up in sort of hundreds and thousands. He says they're the ones that just don't survive. And then he talked about my similar situation. He says even if you've got advanced cancer, Gleason 9, stage 4, advanced metastatic, he says, and even if it's in your bones, he says if it's not a significant amount, if it's only the odd ones or twos, you know, he says, I would say that you've got a 98% survival rate, 5 years. He says, 10 years, he says, I would say 85 to 90% survival rate for 10. 8 to 10 years, he said. He says, in 20 years, he says, I don't know, he says, because we've not had 20 years history to work it on. So, brilliant, you know, it encouraged me watching this thing. So, yeah, and bear in mind that I've just gone on to these brand new second generation drugs, and the second generation drugs treats the mutated cancer cells that produce their own testosterone. Basically, it attacks the testosterone that they're producing and stops it and kills them. The first generation is for the basic prostate cancer cells that come from your prostate, and can only survive off the testosterone that your body produces. So that's the first gen, second gen. So now I'm basically just on the first and second gen medication. The good thing about any mutation that comes from your prostate cancer produces the marker, the PSA, so they can monitor the PSA throughout. And if I then produce like the third generation prostate cancer, they can start to look at, although they haven't got tablets that I can take to kill them, they can then use like lutetium-177, which is where they have the radioactive isotope attached to the molecule, which they inject into your body. The molecule goes and attaches itself to those tumours and irradiates them and kills them. And it's tumour specific. It only goes to those third generation cancer cells. Sorry to be technical, but you need to understand you've got the first baby, what I would call like the baby cancer cells that only survive off your testosterone. And then you've got the second gen, which are like mother bear, that basically she can produce her own testosterone in her body and she lives off that. And you can take the tablets that kill her. And then you've got daddy bear. Ooh, nasty daddy bear. Ooh, big ugly daddy bear. And basically, he can basically survive without any testosterone. And basically, he's a totally different type of cancer cell. It can mutate into all these other types that just don't live off testosterone. And he's the nasty one because basically, although he behaves like a prostate cancer, is not actually a prostate cancer as you understand it, but it produces PSA, which you can then attach things to and kill him. Yeah, so still feeling good. The consultant said today, exercise, lift weights. He's put me on calcium tablets because he said that prostate cancer attacks your body, your bones, your calcium. He says, so it tends to, because you've not got testosterone, it strips the calcium out your body. So he says you need to go on calcium tablets now to, put calcium back in. So I'm going to be shitting white shit. Oh, I shouldn't swear, should I, on YouTube? Anyway, got people walking by looking at me, thinking, who the bloody hell's he talking to? Yeah, so I've still got my invisible cloak of invincibility. Look, you can't see it, look. Yeah. So, it's getting warm in here, that sun's glaring here. I don't know whether I can... No, I can't shut the sun blind. Right, so that's the latest. I'll do one next week once I find out with PSA, just to let you all know. And I'm Ian Keith, and basically I'm now sort of 5 months into advanced metastatic prostate cancer, multiple tumours in my spine. And I've now found out tumours in my pelvic area, in my lymph nodes, 2 of them. And my prostate's glowing like a bloody Belisha beacon. Mind you, if you're in America, you won't know what a Belisha beacon is. It's a road crossing where you get like an orange globe on top, where you get a pedestrian crossing, and it flashes. And it's called a Belisha beacon. Anyway, so... I'm gonna go and sort all these bloody tablets out now. Sign off. 2 bloody hours. I don't know what my parking fee's gonna be. So, and I've got an hour to drive home now. It's coming up, I guess, 1 o'clock. Anyway, right. So it's Ian Keith, Dad, Grandad, and you know what I always say. Yeah, rich tapestry, make it colourful. And a quick shout out to my sister, my eldest sister Jane. They're just moving house, and her husband Paul. So hope you enjoy your new house, and don't do too much. It's very stressful, and understanding about your breathlessness, Jane. Yeah, the consultant says, he says, I think you're a bit anemic. He says, you look a bit pale. He says, so I'm going to do blood tests. He says, and see what you need to be put on. He said, maybe we have to put you on some tablets to get your anemia down. Right, okay. Love to you all, and I'll probably post this a bit later. All being well. Right. Hugs and kisses. Bye now.